Well, welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Get your IDs ready as we're going to be talking about real IDs on this update from the BBB, and our friend Tiffany Schultz is here with her real ID. Let's see. Just kidding. Check your ID. The real ID, it's sneaking up fast. As of today, when we tape this, it's still April, but May 7th, 2025, big day. It's a day that's been pushed back, a day that's been coming, more or less. What the heck is a real ID?
We've been anticipating this for a few years now. And a real ID is an ID that's issued by the government, and you may not even know that you have a real ID, but it's going to be required for you to take a domestic flight, enter secure facilities, and even enter federal buildings. And it's pretty simple. Look on your driver's license and see if you have a star in the upper right. If you do, you're completely compliant, and you don't need to take any additional action. If you don't have a real ID, there are some steps that you're going to take if you want to fly domestically or enter into a federal building or a secure area.
So let's talk about first, how can you get a real ID online? And the Wisconsin DOT website is phenomenal for this. In fact, they've got a big banner up as we speak, telling people to remind you if you get to that DMV site, but starting there is important.
You can go in person to your local DMV. You're going to have to go to your DMV regardless if you start online or not. But you can facilitate the process by going to the DOT website, completing the application, and then going in person to finish up your application for a real ID. Super simple process. It's just going to take a little bit of time and effort on your part.
I would say there was a little bit extra other forms needed for this. So let's talk about that. What are some forms of ID that are, or what are some things that you're going to need as you go through this process?
Yep. You're going to need your birth certificate, you're going to need your social security card, and you're going to need proof of residency. So keep that in mind as you go to the DMV. You're going to need to show those documents.
And check this before you go, let me tell you, because if you get there and you don't have this, you're not getting your ID. I've heard it many times over, so it's not worth screwing around with that. You want to check these things before you head over there and do that, because you don't want to wait in line and find out you're not getting it.
That's right, and if you need replacement copies of your birth certificate or social security card, there could be a process to get those.
Process. We don't like processes. All right, what forms of ID? Oh, no, we already got that. What information should I not supply? So what would the DMV not be asking? And now we're probably walking into legit scams.
You know, we talk about don't give out your personal information. Don't give out your personal information. This is one piece where you're going to have to supply some personal information. But you do not need to supply your bank account information or your credit card. The only time you're going to need your credit card is when you need to pay for this.
And again, you're doing this, you need to do this through the DMV, right? Like, is there other places you can get? I actually haven't even done this research, so I assume you should only get it from your DMV and not from a website.
Well, we know that scammers follow the news, and we know that the Wisconsin DOT website is legitimate. Now, make sure that you are on that DOT legitimate website when you do that. One. There could be websites that pop up that tell you that you can get it completely online, that there's no in-person meeting required. If you find a website like that, that is a fake. You need to go through the Wisconsin DOT website, go to the DMV, and complete your application in person.
And again, there are costs to getting an ID, right? So in general speaking, like, there is going to be some money transaction at the DMV for getting your renewed license, so to speak.
That's correct. When you're in person, it depends on what type of ID you're getting. Are you upgrading a driver's license? Are you getting a new ID? Your fees will vary depending on what you need.
And those are all spelled out at the DMV's website.
Correct.
All right. Well, if you want to learn more about the Real ID program, where would you suggest people go to?
We have some information on bbb.org, some basic information about the process. If you have any more detailed questions, you need to speak to somebody about it, reach out to your local DMV office or the DOT.
All right, perfect. Well, I appreciate it. Hopefully everybody gets this done. I think I was trying to remember, we had a story on, I think it started in like 2016 when they first adopted the program or whatever. So it's taken a long time to get to this place, but I think a lot of people are surprised. They're like, oh, I already have it. Didn't even know it, so.
It was supposed to be 2020, and then COVID pushed that back, and it got pushed back again. And I've checked a few times to make sure mine is legitimate. I don't remember last time.
When it switched over?
Yeah, when it switched over. I must have paid, and I upgraded.
Yeah.
But I do have the Real ID, and a lot of people do. You just need to check for that star in the upper part of your ID.
And certainly you can always check too, like if you're heading to the airlines, if you're not sure, you can check with them and make sure. But like I said, it's right on the DMV's website, and TSA's website as well has a good breakdown of it as well. So, all right, well, appreciate the time as always. We'll catch up real soon.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.